Hi, I'm Kristen. So, briefly talking about the top 10 inventions that I posted on my blog, there are a lot of different inventions that could have made that list. And I've seen some lists online that have 50, that have 100, and even then, it's all at the bias of whoever's writing. Let's say it's a political science major or an engineer, it might be geared more toward literature and communication or more toward engineering and mechanically driven innovations. The ones that I picked, being an engineer, definitely had more to do with the mechanical side of things. However, I did include some that weren't, and they primarily had to do with integrating humanity on a social and connectivity level. So the first one I listed was the internet, which obviously has created a much smaller infrastructure. Well, I guess infrastructure is not the right term, but a much smaller means of communication for the world. In addition, by having information be more accessible, much in the way as the next one I have is the printing press for prior times, allowed for the spread of information and allowed information to no longer be hoarded by an elite class. And so that brought the playing field more toward a monetary level as opposed to socially withholding information from people and inhibiting them from learning. And even now, education is used as a weapon in many societies to prevent social mobility. So internet and printing press are my first two. I had gunpowder because that changed how warfare really evolved, particularly when the New World and when Africa were being invaded by the Europeans. I don't know too much about history, so I can't really attest to it. Then the next two I had were airplanes and cars. I was an aerospace engineer, so of course I like planes, but it really facilitated movement, as did cars, across a broad expanse of territory. And in addition, it also changed the face of warfare. So moving, say, from cavalry pre-World War I to now having aircraft was tremendous in terms of innovation for warfare. And then after that, I had penicillin. So having medicine and allowing simple diseases to be cured helped increase human lifespan and created a boon for more research in medicine and cures. I also had refrigeration, which has allowed for food storage, food to be transported, held for longer times, and it's actually one of the biggest electricity consumption factors. Interestingly enough, about 15% of global electricity is for refrigeration and air conditioning systems. So it is a very key element to maintaining the food supply across the world. I had elevators because that allowed for cities to grow vertically, so we could now increase population density in cities. In places like Dubai, they've certainly needed those for some of the structures that they've been building. I said the telephone was my ninth one, and that is because that has also facilitated communication and allowed for a much broader expanse of people in different locations to connect and share ideas. And then my 10th one was the light bulb. I think light has been very instrumental, not only in allowing for any sort of operation or education and learning, or let's say medicinal operation, so a surgery to be performed after dark. It now extends the amount of working hours that are available. And so I think that helped increase and allow for a better industrial revolution. Well, I think my time is up on that, but what I mean by industrial revolution is more when cars started being created, when hospitals really increased their capacity, when innovation and industry as a whole started to really grow during the wartime and post-World War II. So those are the 10 I have, and I think there are many others that could have made that. If I had gone very pre-era, I could have said, say, the wheel or other very essential discoveries, the internal combustion engine. But I was looking for more of the bigger impact, but more recent top inventions in modern history.